Today's guest is Heather Harper, a four-time Josie Music Award nominee and the 2022 winner of Female Artist of the Year. She's also a part of a duo called Drifted Harmony, of which they are a three-time nominee for Josie Music Awards as well. Let's get into the conversation. This program is part of the Scene Projects Podcast Network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Well, welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is Heather Harper. Heather, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Well, obviously we got some real exciting things coming up here soon, but before we get into, I'm sure a little bit of talk about the upcoming Josie Music Awards, want to give you a chance to just have the floor here and give us a little bit of your backstory.
Sure. So I've been singing pretty much my entire life. Obviously grew up in church. I know a lot of people say that, but I did. I started off singing in church with my mom's side of the family, and a lot of my influences for music came from my mother. She went to Nashville when I was like 4. I remember going on this trip because she got offered a record deal, and she ended up turning it down because she was like, "Do you want to lose?" Or they asked her, "Do you want to lose your privacy?" And she was like, "Oh no, I never thought about that." And so she denied that, and pretty much now she's just been watching me grow as an artist. And I believe the first time I realized I wanted to do this for a living was when I got to sing with her on a small stage in Chandler, Texas, when I was 10 years old for a community event. And it was a Judd song that we sang together. And I was super nervous. I have the video somewhere, which was hilarious. But I knew from that point on I wanted to be a singer. And I got my first guitar when I was 7 years old. Did not know how to play it at all. And I just know my mom showed me a few tricks on the guitar and a few chords. And I didn't even know chords at the time. So I played by ear for the longest time until 2016. I had a guitar player. He quit on me last minute. I had a show that night. And I was like, I am not canceling a show just because of that. And so I was determined, and I taught myself chords pretty quickly, and I went on to play that 3-hour show myself. So yeah, and I've been doing this full time since then.
That's incredible. I love the spunk of like, you're not going to keep me from playing.
That was definitely the mindset. I wasn't gonna, have it look bad on me because I still wanted to go on and do it, and nobody else could do it because it was last minute. But I was determined, and now I just play for myself, like for rhythm. So yeah.
No, I was very fortunate. I began playing, I played drums in concert band and then picked up the bass guitar for jazz band when I was maybe like 12, 13, 7th grade. And then, but my dad was a guitar player. My uncle was a guitar player. I grew up with guitars around me. And then once I kind of put that together with, like you, I've been singing since I could talk, not necessarily in the church, but around family gatherings, around the campfire. When we moved to South Dakota, we had my dad's guitar and us singing. That was our entertainment, right? So have always been a musical family, and I got that bug pretty early in life as well. Before I ever realized that, like, I'm going to do this for a profession, right? And not that I do just music now. The podcast is definitely taking more of my time than my music career, but I just got back from the Wild West Songwriters Festival in my hometown of Deadwood, South Dakota, yesterday, or 2 days ago rather. And it was nice to get out and just perform and to remember how much I loved that part of it. And just being in front of a room of people and singing my heart out and having their energy and their reaction to that. It's really hard to replicate in any other facet of life.
I saw some pictures. I did a little snooping myself. I saw you were a musician as well. So I was hoping you'd talk about that.
Well, and that's how this started, was that I released this song in 2024. We had released one in 23, and then we're, getting ready to release more. I couldn't keep up with that, like releasing a song every week or every month or however long the industry is telling you to release stuff now. But I realized, especially in South Dakota, there's just not very many outlets for that. So I had done the local news and I had done a few podcasts with my friends, but then that was kind of it, right? And people from California have plenty of other musicians and their friends to talk to about music, and people in Texas, right? Like they have their own people, and people in Nashville have their, but there was really nobody for people in the Midwest. And, South Dakota, but we're a member of the Midwest Country Music Organization. So we deal with a lot of artists from Iowa and Minnesota, Wisconsin, Nebraska, right? North Dakota, Wyoming, all of these really, rural areas that just don't have the outlets to go out and, perform and promote their music after they've taken so much time to write it and record it. And all of these things, that it's tough. And that's why a organization like the Josie Music Awards is such a beautiful thing. And I'm just thrilled to be going down to Nashville for the first time to work at the Grand Ole Opry. Is, like I said, somebody pinch me. Like, is this life real? Now, you've been nominated, obviously, a lot. And
yeah.
your relationship with the Josies, I'd love to kind of hear your take as someone who's new, and me to someone who has a little bit more experience.
Well, it first started in 2019. I had never heard of the Josie Music Awards before that, because I know previously they had been at Dollywood before the Grand Ole Opry. And I think at this point they were still at Dollywood, because the first year I won Artist of the Year in 22, that was also their first year at the Grand Ole Opry. So years prior to that, it was at Dollywood. And I never got to attend those awards. It was, due to a mixture of, being performing and stuff, with my schedule conflict is the word I'm looking for. So 2019, someone was like, hey, do you know you're nominated in the Josie Music Awards? I'm like, what's that? And then I find out it's the world's largest independent music award show to be nominated. And I was like, wow. And so I got to looking more into it, and all the nominations I had, and I was like, wow, holy cow, that's crazy, And of course, I just continue to be getting nominated each year, and I've been nominated ever since 2019 for something. And then finally, 2022, when I got to go my first year, I won an award, and that's my award to ever win my entire career, actually. I've been nominated in so many music awards, and to finally take home an award and from a bigger event is like a surreal moment and an honor and a blessing, and just to really help you realize how hard you've been working, and to not, give up on working, and because eventually it will come to you when the time is right. But yeah, just since 2019, I've been nominated every year, and nominated again this year. And also my duo, Drifted Harmony, which you mentioned at the beginning, we just formed in 2024, which I really wanted her on this interview too, but she couldn't because of schedule conflict today. But I told her I'd speak for us, and she was okay with that. So, but we're nominated as well, like you said, and we've not even been together for a year, but we've been taken off since we started, and all obviously still having our solo careers, like my Heather Harper and her stuff around the Drifted Harmony thing. So we're just busy, all the time.
Yeah. So obviously this is what you do professionally. You're not working a day job besides that. You're staying busy playing music. Now, you said you grew up in Texas, or at least you had performed there early in your career. Are you still in Texas now?
Yes, I've lived here my whole life, born and raised in Tyler, Texas, and I've been performing all around East Texas since 2016 full time. And I've gone out of state too and done some performances like in Louisiana and Arkansas and Oklahoma and stuff like that, But Texas is kind of where I'm at.
Well, and having traveled there twice this year, we went all the way down to Austin and played a gig down there in Killeen, Texas. And then I was in Grapevine for the Podcast Movement conference. And to just be in what has been, especially for country music, such a backbone of the industry, really. And Texas is just a massive, massive state. You can drive for a whole day and not get out of it. And I thought South Dakota was big. And so there's plenty of shows to play. Someone could spend an entire career playing and really never have to leave the state and to be very successful doing so. And I'm sure there's, plenty of people out there that have, but it's nice to get to leave home. And I'm sure you're very well received when you go anywhere and perform in other states as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love doing this for a living, and it truly is a blessing to get to do this full time, make my own schedule around it because I do have kids, I have a family, and so it's nice to also get to bring them sometimes to shows. So not all the time do they want to go, which I don't blame them. It's something they're used to now. But when they want to go, they enjoy it and they have fun.
That's what I've noticed. I think when my wife and I first started dating in 2018 and I was restarting my music career, that she's like, well, I have to be at your shows and I have to be. And now she's like, yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead. Songwriter festival weekend. And you're going to be running around playing 2 rounds and then a show at night and doing all these. Like, I don't want to chase you around all of that. Well, I'm good. You let me know when you're playing, some of the bigger gigs, and we've been fortunate to play some of our larger amphitheaters around South Dakota, and they try to be at those, and I make sure that I play. But you kind of spoke to something that I very rarely think about, but that's the freedom, right? Of yes, we play on the weekends, but also that means we can be home during the week and with our families and really spending a lot of time because we're able to go out and to only work maybe a few days a week,
right,
at least in a performing aspect, right? So I think that's what some people maybe miss is that, yes, it's very busy. It's hard as all can be. It's very difficult to, make a living, especially in this day and age where, selling records isn't something that happens for a lot of people unless you kind of have a established fan base and that you take that approach because the industry is just pushing everyone to push the streaming platforms that don't pay you. I've actually sold more albums in the last 2 days of finishing mine, and I don't even have a CD. I'm just selling a digital download, but people want to support and they understand that streaming really isn't doing that for independent artists now. And they want to see that success and they want to be a part of that. Do you have, do you sell CDs still at your shows? And obviously merchandise is probably a big part of what you do as well.
I used to sell CDs. I don't anymore, but I do still sell merch like t-shirts and tank tops and koozies and stuff like that because I do feel like physical merch is way better than, like you said, digital because digital we're not even getting enough to make up for the work put in it. So I feel like people just, if, the fans coming out to the shows, buying merch physically, that helps us a lot more than going and, streaming the song or downloading the song.
Yeah, I think I saw something recently where a million streams equals out to like $1,500. And it's like, that doesn't cover the cost of recording one song sometimes, right? Depending on, where you're doing it at. If you're going into Nashville and hiring professionals to play on your albums and then to the recording space, like you're so much in debt when you finish this to have nothing to show for it is kind of sad. I was really happy to see that, 3 people over the weekend had given us $10 to get the digital download of the songs and just to own something, right? So you don't have to go on Spotify and listen to 12 songs that aren't ours to hear one of our songs, right? So I think it's coming back. I think people understand that the music industry, the way that it's been for the last 10, 15 years, has really hurt the independent artists. And that's why you don't see as many that are really cracking up into that, the upper echelon of being, quote unquote, rock stars.
Yes, yes. And I noticed too, like it's been so much easier for a lot of us to just put out singles instead of a full album because then you're really getting a lot more traction by doing a single at a time. You're getting people ready for the next one versus an album. You're not sure if they're going to listen to the whole thing, which I've tested that.
No, and I that's what I released a few singles over the last 2 years, and I wanted to bring out a and it's only 5 songs. I mean, really, I guess it'd be like an EP, right? But I wanted, they were works. They were songs that really kind of fit together. And it was just like, I just want to get these out. I want to release them all as one thing and as a collection of works and as something that I have to show the world. And I'm doing enough already. I don't need to be promoting a new song every couple of weeks and rolling things out like that. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. And it's not dictated by anyone except the industry. Like the industry is telling us to do that because that's what feeds their model, right? That's what keeps new songs coming out on their platforms and then us driving new listeners into their model. And I'm just not, I mean, there's billions of people on this planet and like a fraction of 1% have heard my music. So I can push the same old songs that I've been working on for years, for probably 20 years. And still not that many people, in the population of the world will have heard it. So we'll see. I'm bucking trends around here though, Heather, and I have that capability, right? When you own the radio station and the podcast and everything that's promoting it. So awesome. Well, I know you're a busy gal. I don't want to keep you for too long. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff? And we'll get them streaming and listening to all your music.
Sure. Well, if you just go to my website, heatherharpermusic.com, everything about me is on there, about my duo. My social media links are on there. I am on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. And also, I'm getting ready to release a new song November 7th called The Cowboy's Way. I at least try to release a song like once a year because, like you said, I feel like the live shows is where it's at right now versus releasing a song. They have that for a good year to listen to, But so that's where you can go
I
find
like where
me.
you're at. I like the single a year onto streaming, right? At one point, I think so. Is like you have to roll out a new song every week and a music video with it and everything. I was just like, who writes 300 or 50 songs a year? I haven't written 50 songs in my life, I don't think, right? Not that we're good enough to record and release to the world.
Well, I had a professional tell me that actually, ideally, every 3 to 4 months, you should be putting out a song, which I was doing that for a while. But I think as long as you're doing like a couple a year, you're good. But I had like some life things that happened. I was in a super bad car accident last year. So it kind of put me back a little bit. But I mean, I'm back now, obviously. This year has been full swing. But that's just what I feel like has worked for me. It may not work for you, it may not work for this person over here, but that's what I like to do because here in Texas, like all these cities are now becoming music friendly. We're getting more venues with music and just live shows and physical merch is just where it's at right now. And hey, you want to release a song on the platform in the middle of it, go for it. If you don't, that's okay too, because I feel like if the fans coming out to see you live is where it's at.
I couldn't agree more. And I hope they get to come out sometime and see us perform together down there in Texas. Or we'll bring you up to South Dakota. We got plenty of gigs in the summertime. Winter slows down a lot for us for good reason. But maybe that's when I can come down and visit y'all in Texas because it was 100 degrees and 100% humidity. I felt like when I visited in May and in August. So I struck out twice on, decent weather. My old Suburban doesn't have AC, so I will never do that again. But maybe I'll come down to Texas in like February. Maybe that'd be nice. Yeah,
just look out for snow and ice. Sometimes it hits us for like 2 days, and then we're back to bipolar hot weather.
See, I know how to drive in snow and ice. This is why I grew up in the tundra here, so we're good. Everybody else can stay home. Yeah. Right. All fun. Well, Heather, I'm really looking forward to meeting you and your cohort in Drifted Harmony at the Josie Music Awards there in Nashville coming up here soon. Congratulations on the new music coming out. And I can't wait to meet you in person.
Thank you. Sounds good. I can't wait to meet you as well. Looking forward to it. We're 2 weeks away. So exciting.
It's crazy. It's almost here. And because I was so focused on our Wild West Songwriters Festival and kind of getting through that weekend, that it hit me on the way home where I was like, oh, you're going to be at the Grand Ole Opry in 2 weeks. Like, wow. And I don't know that even by next year at this time, hopefully when we're going back there again, that we'll have sunk in how far we've come as a media company. I mean, I've only been doing podcasting for about 18 months, but I brought the mentality that I had, knocking doors, selling magazines door to door back in the day to this thing. And, we were able to win an award from the Midwest Country Music Organization for the content creator of the year. So that title, and as you kind of alluded to earlier, is, we don't necessarily do it for the awards, but it really helps in the public because now you've been recognized, and our organization, it's voted on by the members. So that felt even better to be like, oh, our people, right? My friends have recognized me as worthy of this. I have to go live up to that now. And we've released a ton more content this year than we ever thought about doing last year. So hopefully we can live up to the name and live up to that recognition. And I'm sure you feel much of the same anytime that you're recognized by your peers or by an organization like the Josies. You just have to go out and work that much harder now.
Yep, of course. I couldn't agree more.
Well, Heather, thanks for your time today, and thanks for being part of the scene.
Yes, thanks for having me. See you in a couple of weeks.